Hi folks, this is Madhavan here from God's Own Country, Kerala, and welcome back to my podcast channel, Everyday Flourish. Today's episode is The Sliced Life, the podcast where we explore the delicious stories behind our favorite foods. I am your host, once again, Mahadevan, and today we are taking a journey back in the time to uncover the saucy, cheesy, and sometimes surprising origin of one of the world's most beloved dishes, pizza. So grab a slice, get comfortable, and let us dive into the fascinating history of pizza. The ancient roots. When we think of pizza, we immediately think of Italy, specifically Naples. But the truth is, the concept of a flat bread with a topping has been around for thousands of years. From ancient Greece to ancient Rome, people were making simple oven baked. The Greek had a dish called plek, a flat bread with the toppings like herbs, garlic, and onions. The Romans, on the other hand, had their focaccia, which, while a lot like modern pizza crust, was still more a bread than a complete meal. My pronunciations are a little different, especially I am from India, from Kerala. So I request you to kindly bear with my pronunciation. Now, these early flatbreads were a staple for the working class. They were cheap, easy to make, and great way to use up whatever the ingredients were on hand. But they weren't yet pizza as we know it. The key ingredient was missing: the tomato. The birthplace of pizza, Naples. Fast forward to the 16th century, and we are arrived in the bustling, crowded city of Naples. At this time, Naples was one of the largest cities in Europe, and its streets were filled with working class people, or lazzaroni. They need food that was quick, affordable, and filling. And that's where the legend begins to take shape. The tomato, which had been brought to Europe from the Americas, was initially viewed with suspicion. People thought it was poisonous. But in Naples, the poor were willing to try anything. They started putting tomatoes on their flat breads, along with the local ingredients like olive oil, garlic, and herbs. This simple, humble dish was very first pizza. To get a clear picture, I have done some research. What is crucial to understand is that pizza in Naples wasn't a fancy dish. It was street food. People would buy a slice from the vendors for just a few lira. It was food for the mass, and its simplicity was its strength. The Neapolitan pizzoli, or pizza makers, perfected the art of the perfect crust and the balance of simple, fresh ingredients. That is fascinating. The simplicity is the key. And that brings us to the most famous story in the pizza, the royal seal of approval. In 1889, King Umberto I and the Queen Margherita of Savoy visited Naples. They were tired of the elaborate French cuisine they had been eating and wanted to try a local street food. A famous Neapolitan pizzolo named Raphael Espatio was called to the place. He created 3 different pizzas for the queen. One with lard and basil, another with the marina sauce, and the third is the one we all know. Raphael created a pizza with a note to the Italian flag: red tomatoes, white mozzarella cheese, and green basil. The queen loved it so much that he named that pizza in her honor, and thus the pizza margherita was born. This royal endorsement was a game changer. Suddenly, pizza went from being a humble street food to a dish worthy of queen, and its fame began to spread across Italy. Now our pizza goes global, the American invention. So how did this Napoleon specialty conquer the world? The answer lies with the Italian immigrants. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, millions of Italians, many from the south, immigrated to the United States. They brought their traditions with them, and of course, that include pizza. The first pizza in the United States, Lombardi's, opened in New York City in 1905. It was a heaven for Italian Americans and a place where they could get the taste of home. But it wasn't an instant hit with the broader American public. For many years, pizza remained a regional food, mostly confined to the Italian American neighborhoods in the cities like New York, Boston, and Chicago. The big change came after World War II. American soldiers who had been stationed in Italy came back with a new appreciation for this simple yet delicious dish. They had tasted authentic pizza in Naples and they wanted to find it at home. The post war demand, combined with the rise of the frozen food industry and the growth of large chain restaurants like Domino's and Pizza Hut in 1960s, transformed pizza from niche food to a mainstream American staple. Finally, the pizza revolution and modern day. Today, pizza is a global phenomenon. You can find it in countless forms, from deep dish Chicago style to thin crust New York slice, and even unexpected topping like pineapple, a controversy for the another episode. Believe me, I don't know how it is going to taste. I never tasted a pizza topped with pineapple. Ah, yuck. There is food fried Napoleon style pizza that honors the original, and countless versions that push the boundaries. The story of pizza is the story of a simple idea that evolved with the time, traveled across oceans, and captured the hearts and stomachs of people everywhere. It is the testament to how a humble dish for the poor can become a global icon. And that is our story on the birth and history of pizza. Thank you for joining me on the Sliced Life. Until next time, keep exploring, keep eating, and always save room for one more slice. Goodbye. Thank you.